when we talked about what is the vision and national service, I think it does not begin or should not begin at the high school level. I think it needs to go to the primary school level.
Leveraging and launching our creative industries in the country.
That's gotten mixed reviews.
Well, I think what got mixed reviews is not the concept, but the labeling.
What we do today will affect those coming after us.
What should you expect from Chantal? We've got the latest on the tropical storm. The Bahamas celebrates 40 years in grand style. A shakeup in the DNA and more from the Constitutional Commission. Good evening, I'm Nakia DeVoe, and this is NB12. Happy 40th Independence, Bahamas. Thanks for joining us here at Cable 12 Studios. Some promising news for the Bahamas from the Met Office.
It does still have the potential to change its characteristic, but as it appears now, it should continue to weaken.
We've got all the latest on Tropical Storm Chantal in just a bit, but first, a look at the celebrations as the Bahamas reached a major milestone. The much-anticipated annual Independence celebrations drew thousands of residents, visitors, and officials to Clifford Park last night. And despite a brief power outage just before 9 p.m. that BEC is blaming on ZNS, the cultural show and tattoo entertained the massive crowd that gathered to watch. Our Jasmine Bonamy attended the event and filed this report.
Hundreds of Bahamians descended on Fort Charlotte for what officials say is one of the best attended celebrations in the past 40 years.
Earlier this year, officials from the Independence Planning Committee announced that this year's tattoo and cultural show would be the mother of all shows in the past 40 years. Attending last night's event was Governor General Sir Arthur Folkes, Prime Minister Perry Christie, Chinese and U.S. dignitaries, as well as several cabinet ministers. The celebrations, which were held under the theme The Bridge to the Future, The Journey Continues, started at 7:30 with a ecumenical service, followed by a cultural show and tattoo. For onlookers like Edgar McPhee and Carla Moss, who both attended the first ever celebrations in 1973, last night's celebrations were a symbol of growth for the nation.
It's a privilege to be back home to celebrate our 40th anniversary. It's so important for a nation to know its heritage, and this is what we are celebrating, a time to rejoice and celebrate a new beginning for the future.
It is different for every time, and now this year is much better, and I truly can feel independence now. This is the first time I can truly say I really feel a difference from way back. Yeah, it is a big difference. Everything, the entertainment, I noticed that a lot of Bahamians are really taking part.
And then there are those who attend the event each year. It's held, like Erica Pierre and Diago Stubbs Key.
I just saw my daughter dance and she did a lovely job. I come every year because she takes part every year.
I'm ecstatic. Yeah, I always used to go to it. Pretty much I even played with the band here once.
The celebrations also drew visitors from across the world. Parker Cornish, a South Carolina resident, says he learned of the events from friends and reports he read in the media. Cornish says it was his first time witnessing Bahamian independence celebrations.
Yes, it's excellent.
It's sexy?
Now, while he did not address the crowd last night, Prime Minister Christie did release an independence message saying while the Bahamas has reached an important milestone, Bahamians need to recommit themselves to addressing the many issues and challenges that confront the nation's future.
Last night's celebrations also included performances from local artists, bands, and playwrights. Reporting for NB12, I'm Jasmine Bonamy.
The Royal Bahamas Police Force was out in full force at last night's celebrations. Police Press Liaison Officer Sergeant Chrislyn Skippings says dozens of uniformed and plainclothes officers were stationed at strategic points in and around the Clifford Park and Fort Charlotte area.
A lot of planning has gone into making this particular Independence celebration a great success tonight. I can tell you that we have a fine cadre of police officers out here, both senior and junior command, who are actually ensuring that this event goes off without any incident. We have what we call a 3-layer gold, silver, and bronze security mechanism put in place tonight.
She added that considering this year's celebrations were expected to be one of the most well-attended, police had to come up with a strategic plan geared at crowd control and safety. Skipping says layers of security were implemented for last night's event.
We have what we call a 3-layer gold, silver, and bronze security mechanism put in place tonight, and so persons out here feel very safe. Right now we don't have any matters that have come to our attention as being reported. Bahamians generally are enjoying the celebration.
And with just a few more hours remaining in the holiday, she is cautioning residents to remain vigilant and alert as they continue to celebrate.
As you celebrate this 40th anniversary of our Bahamas, I want you to do so in a safe environment. Those persons who are going to be consuming alcoholic beverages, if you're going to parties, I want you to ensure that you have a designated driver. Make sure, we don't want any incidents occurring. While you're out, we're also asking you to always be on the alert. Always pay attention to your surroundings. Know where your kids are.
Well, despite significant police presence at the celebration and then later on at the People's Rush Independence Junkanoo Parade and surrounding areas, criminals still managed to cause some trouble. Officers responded to a shooting in the Market Street area earlier this morning. Our cameras were rolling just as the victim was rushed away in an ambulance. We were also there as officers processed the crime scene. Now, details have still not come in from police as yet, and the man's condition was unknown up to airtime. But eyewitnesses told us that the victim was shot multiple times and was in pretty bad shape when he was taken from the scene. We'll bring you updates if they become available in a later newscast. We now want to turn your attention back to our storm watch. Forecasters say they expect Tropical Storm Chantal to be downgraded by this evening. This afternoon, what is believed to be the center of the storm was about 270 miles east-southeast of Kingston, Jamaica, and was continuing west away from the Bahamas. But as Paige McCartney tells us in this report, that doesn't mean the Bahamas won't be affected at all.
Although Chantal is weakening, forecasters say residents still shouldn't let their guards down and should prepare for bad weather over the next few days. Forecasters say that if Chantal degenerates into a tropical wave, all tropical storm watches and warnings could be discontinued by tonight. At 2 p.m., Chief Meteorological Officer in the Department of Meteorology, Neil Armstrong, said if Chantal remains a tropical cyclone, a turn toward the west, northwest, and northwest with a gradual decrease in forward speed is expected during the next 48 hours.
The tropical storm Chantal is moving towards the west. It's showing signs of deteriorating, and we expect it to become a depression or a strong wave by this evening.
Now, how does that affect the Bahamas? Because we see that she's gone a little off the course that we were anticipating just a day ago.
Well, presently, according to its shift in dynamics and the direction, we're expecting mostly cloudy conditions over the Bahamas for the next couple of days and rainfall. You can get some thunderstorms, severe at times, and somewhere in the range of the 3 to 6 inch rainfall amounts can be expected.
Armstrong said the first islands will experience Chantal's outer bounds tonight and includes those in southeastern Bahamas, which were still under tropical storm watch this afternoon.
Inagua, the Ragged Island chain, Acklins, Crooked Island, and the Turks and Caicos Islands would start experiencing overcast conditions this evening with light to moderate rainfall and some thunderstorms at times.
However, eastern Cuba and northwestern Bahamas should continue to monitor the slow-moving storm for possible changes.
As the system loses its dynamics, once it becomes a depression or a wave, we'll then drop the warnings, but we'll advise everyone to be alert for the possible flooding and the rainfall and severe thunderstorm activity. As the system moves on its expected track across Cuba, exiting between the Florida coast and Andros later in the week, we can expect some increased cloudiness again in the northwest Bahamas with more shower activity taking us into the weekend.
For MB12, I'm Paige McCartney.